يا شكلك زهرة من الحبر سايح وملا صفحات كتاب الرايح. هل انت حلم في عالم الواقع أم حلم ناس القواعد؟ جميلة 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 جميلة.
Dear Toni, you took the time to care when many see the images of our humiliation as topics for dinner conversations. You raised your pen in solidarity and protest, not caring if you be labeled an interferer. You saw in us what we, from sheer exhaustion, almost forgot to see in ourselves. Your words heal our wounds and make us visible to an indifferent world. Yours are the words of generations of survivors who felt the pain of the whip on the flesh and how it transforms when it fails to break the spirit.
To a Sudanese woman. I have seen many instances of human brutality, but this one was particularly harrowing. In the midst of my revulsion, certain thoughts surfaced. How much courage it takes to lash a woman. Even guillotine executioners had the decency to mask their faces, to hide their shame as they cut off heads. Perhaps the man who whipped you took pride in his expertise, in never missing, always connecting his whip with your flesh. How satisfying it must have been to maul a helpless, weaponless female. How empowering, how masculine. Watching those onlooking men laughing at the spectacle of your humiliation distressed me as much as watching the executioner. I understand that historically the control of women, not only their movements, their speech, but especially their uteri, their ova, their fetuses, is one of the major foundations of sovereign nations. For them, an ovum is a matter of state. Sperm is not. The raped is responsible for her assault. The rapist is not. And although certain modern nations are slowly abandoning that ancient requirement, some, like yours, as well as Saudi Arabia and others, cling to male guardian laws as a singular characteristic of power. How afraid such regimes must be, how puerile their claims of power. I don't know or care to know what law you broke. What I do know is that the infractions of which women like you are guilty pertain to their being untethered. And in regimes such as yours, whether chaotic or silently oppressive, the unleashed are lashed. For being alone in public, for mingling with unrelated males, for owning a cell phone, for driving a car, for wearing trousers. The helpless are punished for bearing the child of a rapist employer. And age does not matter. Children of 11 and women of 75 have all been jailed and bloodied for contesting, forgetting, or ignoring incomprehensible, even silly, rules. The abused animal life so many women are required to live is being challenged. You did not crouch or kneel or assume a fetal position. You shouted. You fell, but you kept rising. After each cut of the lash into your flesh, you tried to stand. You raised your body up like a counter whip. Your reactions, I interpreted them as glimmers of hope, of principled defiance. Each cut tearing your back hurts women all over the world. Each scar you bear is ours as well. I have no advice for you and would not presume to offer any. But like thousands of women everywhere, I will not give in to sorrow or retreat into despair. Women are speaking out, saying aloud what you are forbidden to say at all, doing in public what you are not ever permitted to do. They are gathering together, demanding that your efforts to rise up in the face of brutality are not in vain. Sincerely, Toni Morrison.
Dear Toni Morrison, you came to our land even though you never stepped on it. You may have heard of its vastness and diversity, how its ordinary people, all shades of browns and blacks, lived peacefully together when they were allowed. It is a land rich in resources, oil, gold, the Great Nile, fertile land, and the unlimited abilities of our people. Much of our wealth has been wasted, and much lies dormant and untapped. Most of our people are poor, but we were famous for our tolerance, generosity, and the legendary friendliness of the Sudanese. We used to live and share our neighborhoods in peace. Muslims, Christians, traditionalists, and non-believers, and gave refuge to others persecuted for their faith. That was before religion was used as a weapon of subjugation, destruction, and division. That was before we witnessed millions of our people killed in wars and conflict, and millions others left to die from disease and hunger. And because of indifference and neglect, more women die in pregnancy and childbirth. And the tragic result was that our country, once the heart of Africa, was broken into two. Many of us ask, why are the women of Sudan the focus of such excessive brutality? Why is wearing trousers a sin when worn by an outspoken journalist and not a policewoman? Why is sexually harassing a political activist goes unpunished while couples are arrested for daring to love? Why do the soldiers rape our sisters in broad daylight, first in Darfur, then in the Nuba Mountains, with complete impunity? Why are thousands of poor women whipped, humiliated, and robbed of their meager savings under the protection of the public order law? Has our society numbed itself to women's sufferings? Why are our people silent? Why are our neighbors silent? But the women of Sudan have not and will not be broken. We shout, we fall, and we rise again. Together with the good men of our country, we shall make the Sudan of our dreams. Together, we will build a better future for our children and grandchildren. Shokran, Toni. We thank you for listening to our screams. Shokran, Toni. We thank you for respecting our dignity. Shokran, Toni. We thank you for seeing our strengths. Shokran, Toni. We thank you for refusing to be silent. Shokran, 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 shokran.